Hey, welcome back to Pianist Academy. This is the third video in a series about bench position, posture, and hand shape as we approach playing the piano. Like I've said previously, this video is a very in-depth look at just one component of this very broad topic. So if you've missed other parts of this series, I hope you go back and check those out. Today's topic is about bench height, what we need to look for in the arm, the forearm, and the wrist, and the hand, and also what we need to pay attention to with the legs and the feet as we go about finding the correct bench height for you. So let's dive in. If you'll sit at the piano with me and just let your arms dangle freely from your shoulders. Just let them fall freely at your sides from their shoulders. When they feel nice and relaxed, just try to hinge from the elbow, and we're gonna put our hand on the keyboard. If we have the right bench height and we're sitting up with good posture, we're gonna find that from the elbow, down the forearm, through the wrist, and through the top of the hand, makes one completely straight line. There's a line that's also parallel with the floor. This is what we want to see. If we have the right posture and the right bench height, this is a perfectly straight line and it's parallel with the floor. Now, if our bench is too low, which is most commonly the problem, I can show you what that looks like if I slouch a little bit. Don't slouch at the piano of yourself. But if I'm down too low, you're going to see a crook in the arm here. It's going to be bent and it's going to be at a 45-degree angle. Usually that's also accompanied by a very raised wrist. So we get these two different V shapes in different parts of the arm. Now we want to eliminate that as soon as we can. Sometimes it'll just be the V in the elbow and the wrist will be fine. That's usually not the case. The other most commonly seen thing is the forearm that's very low with the wrist that's bent, and way down here we're playing only with fingers down here, and that's also very uncomfortable. We want to get rid of that as soon as possible. So if we raise the bench up, then all of a sudden we can have the right shape, the right height, everything's nice and lined up. If the bench is too high, this usually isn't a problem for most people, but if it's too high, I can show you by leaning back some, we get this downward angle in the forearm. And that's not as detrimental to our technique as being too low, but it's still something that we want to fix as soon as possible. So we're looking for this perfectly parallel line, forearm, wrist, top of the hand. Now, how do we get there? If you have an adjustable bench with the knobs like this or the really fancy hydraulic ones, you can of course get there very easily that way. If you don't, there are plenty of other easy options to adjust your height. The most commonly done thing, and what I used to do when I was very young, is just put books on the top of the bench. So we get to the right height that the forearm makes that parallel line with the floor. Another thing I've seen people do is actually put carpet squares on top of the bench. And usually because we're only talking about an inch-ish of height difference to get this right, you don't need all that many carpet squares to do that. Obviously, carpet's gonna be a lot more comfortable to sit on than books. So if you have something like that available, maybe you could go and grab those. You could even grab them at like a Home Depot or something like that. Also, I've seen people put books under the legs of the bench. Of course, now you need books that are all exactly the same height because we don't want a wobbly bench, but that'll keep your bench top flat and more comfortable, and also we still get the bench up higher so that we're at the height that we need to be. What I would not do actually is use a pillow or a cushion, especially if your bench has a high gloss finish. Reason being because pillows and cushions can be slippery, and while it might raise us up to the right height, as we lean back and forth and move, that might have a tendency to slide one direction or another, or completely slide out from under us. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to be alarmed or even feel like anything underneath us is moving as we play. So something more solid, books, carpet squares. Carpet squares also, they usually have more of a rubberized bottom to them. They're not going to shift around on you as much as you play. Now, once we figured out the height for our upper body to be in, we need to pay attention to what's happening in the legs and in the feet. Now, for most adults, this isn't going to be a problem. For the shortest of adults, sometimes their feet don't reach the floor anymore after they get the bench to the right height, but this is usually because they're sitting too far back. And then adults can get dangling legs. More often than not, you see dangling legs in younger children. Children that aren't tall enough yet to have the bench up high enough and still have their legs reach the floor. So how do we fix that? Because having the feet flat is very important for maintaining our balance, keeping our core engaged with playing the piano and not actually keeping our body upright, and also keeping that left foot, like we talked about in the first video, that left foot engaged and helping to stabilize us and balance us. Very simple solutions for most kids. You can either put books down there, again, to raise the feet up to the right height so that they're not just dangling off the bench. You could also use something like 2x4s. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Anything, pieces of wood, a platform. You could use some kind of step stool or a one-step stool. You could place that under there. I've also seen foldable step stools that have 1 or 2 steps. And you can just slide that in under the bench, Then the feet have a platform to sit on and rest on. And then we can also just fold it up, take it away, put it back in the closet when we're done playing. If you're a teacher of or parent of a very advanced young child that needs access to the pedals before their feet can reach the floor, there are things made called pedal extenders. And what those are, they're boxes that go over the pedals at the bottom that are on the floor, right? And they have an adjustable platform on top. So like an adjustable bench, the platform that the feet sit on can actually be raised and lowered. And then that platform has another 3 pedals on the top of it. And those pedals connect to the pedals of the actual piano. Basically, we can have an adjustable pedal box that has a platform for the feet to sit on also. Now, those can be a little bit expensive. They can be $100 to $200. If you really need one or you want one, I'll leave a link to some of those in the description below for you to check out. All right, that's it for today. I hope this video was helpful and insightful for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, ding the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Remember to practice smarter, not harder. And I'll see you next time you visit Pianist Academy.